Tonight, new Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia in the middle of a lot of firsts, including this one just a few hours ago. He got a good view of the Dallas skyline in a DPD Air One helicopter ride tonight. But the new chief has a lot of serious matters to get to right away in Dallas. I'm Doug Dunbar. I met with him late this afternoon to talk about what's ahead. Chief Garcia now leads a department that is twice the size of the one he left when he was chief in San Jose, California. And in Dallas, violent crime, that's on the rise. And in some cases, trust has been declining, not only in the department, but in the greater community as well.
Officers need to feel that they're going to be supported. Officers feel that they're going to need to be treated fairly in order for them to go out and do the work that we're asking for them to do. And
that work, says Chief Garcia, begins with proactive policing and being fair to the community. And most of all, listening.
Nothing beats sitting down with a resident that has to deal with violent crime every night to hear from them, what do you want?
Those same hard conversations, Garcia told me, will also happen inside his department.
I cannot force an officer to stop an individual at 3 in the morning who has an illegal weapon with drugs. I can't make them do that. They will do that only if they feel they're being treated fairly and feel that they're supported by their rank and file or by their command staff. And we know we need that in the city of Dallas.
And a big part of the reason you were hired was to fight violent crime. 2019, it was the highest we'd seen in a decade. 2020 last year, even during COVID, it goes up 25%. How do you combat that?
Well, the first thing is we need to recognize that to solve this problem is not going to be solved overnight. We need to recognize the root causes of violent crime in areas and neighborhoods of the city that we know are socioeconomic based, lack of education, lack of jobs, mental illness, drug use. You are not going to solve those problems overnight.
Garcia says in the coming weeks he'll take a close look at every level of the department, from his command staff on down. Only 48 hours on the job, he's already seeing where some changes do need to be made.
Yeah, I've seen some things internal that I feel can lead to a better result in our mission. There's some things that we're going to be doing out in our community. There's some things that we can do for transparency.
And that includes how things are handled if any of his officers are involved in a shooting.
We live in a day and a time, and we live in a city where race can sometimes be a factor in police-involved shootings. What's your approach to something like that?
When it comes to the officer-involved shootings, each case is different. I want to look specifically at what's going on in Dallas. Do we need better training? We're going through implicit bias training. We'll be going through procedural justice training. We want to ensure that we're treating our communities with respect.
And in the city that saw over 250 murders and a major spike in violent crime in 2020, Chief Garcia believes the path forward can start with everyone taking one small step back.
It's to see each other as human beings first, and the officer not seeing the community member as a suspect immediately, but by the same token, the community member not necessarily seeing a police officer, but a father, a mother, a son, someone who just put their kids to sleep and came out to devote a late night shift for their community, and see them as that first as well.
As to Garcia being the first ever Latino police chief in Dallas, the first thing he said to me was he was surprised by that, had no idea. But also he said very proud because now he feels a lot of parents of Latino kids can point right to Garcia and tell their kids, hey, you can be police chief one day as well.